Are we ready? I think we must be good. Well, good evening and welcome to the Cedar Falls Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for this July 8th, 2020. Coming to you again via video conference. For those interested in participating, there is information on the planning and zoning portion of the city website. There's a number of ways to log in and attend. Also, we are on YouTube channel and on cable TV channel 15, etc. So we hope you're able to participate if you would like tonight. We'll start out with the roll call and have Karen Howard take the roll.
Hey, everybody got themselves unmuted? Atkins? Here. Hartley?
Here.
Holst?
Here.
Larson?
Here.
Leeper? Prideaux?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Saul?
Here.
Trot?
Here.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Our first item of business would be the approval of the minutes from the June 24th, 2020 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Same sign. So seeing none, that carries.
Sorry
Right
about
now-
that. We got everything muted here.
Okay. Our next item of business would be any public comments, and this would be on anything that is not on an item of business tonight. If there's something outside of that that somebody would like to comment on, looking at the attendees list, and if anybody would like to raise their hand to make a comment, please do so. We'll give you just a moment here, and if not, we will move on to our regular business items. So seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to, we have one item of old business tonight, and that is a preliminary plat amendment for Wild Horse Ridge. And I think, Shane, you're gonna get us up to speed on this one, is that right?
Yep.
Can everyone see the screen here?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So again, the commission did review this at their last meeting. So I'll just quickly go over what this is again. This is a preliminary plat amendment. The original preliminary plat for the entire Wild Horse Ridge subdivision was approved back in 2005. And so this is dealing with the 5th through the 9th editions on the west side. So you can see here the original plat that was approved in 2005. Again, we're kind of just looking at the west half of this, as the east half has already been subdivided out. Again, there were some roads that ended in cul-de-sacs. There was a second road connection to 12th Street and a couple small circular drives down at the southwest corner and right in the middle of the plat that were on the original plat in 2005. So with this updated plat, again, what they're looking to do, the developer is looking to add some 0 lot line duplex lots along the northwest corner of the amended preliminary plat near West 12th Street, along the west side of Lariat Lane and the north side of Arrowhead Drive. Again, and then what they're doing down at the bottom at the southwest corner where they originally showed a small circle drive, they're replacing that with a small cul-de-sac with some lots that butt up to that, the large detention basin that's located in the first edition. They did remove the access to 12th Street, so there will be just one access at the northwest corner. Instead, they're replacing that with a stormwater management area. What that will be is there's a culvert that currently runs underneath 12th Street that gets water from the north of this property. It would go under that culvert into this detention basin, and then it would go into a storm sewer pipe within the roads, and then it would eventually carry itself all the way down to that detention basin in the first edition. And then again, on the original preliminary plat, there was a long cul-de-sac street right in the middle here. They're replacing that, and they're with a small cul-de-sac, Cherry Creek Court, and then they're also extending Sandstone Lane, which will connect from Arrowhead Drive down to Pebblestone Place. So they're just making some minor street modifications to the original plat approved in 2005. So again, this is the phasing plan. Again, the first, second, third, and fourth editions have all been final platted and are already either built out or currently being built upon. So what we're looking at here is the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th editions. You can see the 5th edition would add 34 single-family lots. The 6th edition would add 30 single-family lots. The 7th edition is when you start getting into the duplex lots. They would be adding 14 single-family lots and 22 duplex lots in the 7th edition. And then the 8th edition, again, 45 single-family lots and 18 duplex lots. And then the 9th edition, which is at the very southwest corner of the property, would just add 24 single-family lots. So the only two additions that would be adding the duplex lots would be the 7th and 8th editions. And that would be a total of 40 duplex lots. Again, this was similar to what with the arbors that was recently approved by the commission and city council. They're looking at these two different concepts for these duplex structures, a ranch concept and a two-story concept. Both would have either a 2 or 3 bedroom layout and then have 2-stall attached garages. And again, the developer has indicated in previous meetings to the commission that they're looking at that $250,000 to $280,000 price point. So with that, again, going back to even what the commission reviewed with the arbors and what we're kind of modeling for the Wild Horse subdivision is an addendum to that developmental procedures agreement that was approved back when this was originally platted, to basically maintain that residential character of the neighborhood on those 0 lot line dwellings. Again, indicating that there should be a variation in color between each adjacent 2-unit dwelling. Have those 2 different building models, including a 1-story and a 2-story, variation of the design elements, have the paving in the front yard be minimized, have maximum width of a driveway, and then maximum size of a garage. Again, have that minimum spacing from the intersection of a collector street. And then again, this was brought up at the last time, is that we're looking at adding some language to this agreement for Wild Horse to address storm sewer upsizing to accommodate water runoff from adjacent properties. So since the last meeting, staff has had several conversations with some of the neighboring property owners to the west, outside of the city limits. So if you recall, the west side of this subdivision is the city limit line. I had the adjacent farm owner come in and talk with me earlier this week, and also talk with our engineering department about just wanting to know what the plans were to do to deal with the water, because there's a water channel that kind of comes from the west. And we've been talking with the developer about doing some storm sewer upsizing to be able to capture that water. It would eventually go into that large detention basin within the first edition, but just making sure that's done at adequate size. Obviously, that would be all kind of finalized as these construction plans come for each of the final plats. And I believe, I don't know if Kevin Fitro's on the line, but I believe his engineer is on the call. His engineers actually talked with some of the surrounding property owners as well. So there's been some good dialogue between city staff, the developer's engineer, and several of those landowners to the west. Again, just talking about things that the city or the developer can do to help increase the size of the capacity of the stormwater to make sure there's no water backing up onto adjacent properties, which would in effect, not only help this development, but it would also help the surrounding properties. So I think all those discussions have been gone pretty well so far. Just keeping the neighbors informed as to kind of what things that the developers are looking to do to kind of help with that water concern. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the preliminary plat and looking for a recommendation to move this on to City Council.
Great, thank you, Shane. I'm going to look to the attendees list here and see anybody who is on the attendees who would like to comment on this. If you can use a little button to raise your hand, although it doesn't look like I'm seeing anybody from prior who has an interest in this. I'll give just a moment, see if there's anybody. Seeing none, I will bring it back to the commission for discussion, a motion, etc.
I have a question for Shane. Was my understanding at the last time that 12th Street would be paved in conjunction with the final approval of section 7th edition? Was that correct?
I don't think that's mandated, but that's something that the developer had indicated. Obviously, when they get to the 7th edition, which makes that connection to 12th Street, they would like to have 12th Street paved, so you're not having a paved concrete road connecting with, I think that's gravel at that point, at that section. So, and then I believe Mr. Fitcher had indicated, if I recall right, that they anticipate each edition taking about 1.5 to 2 years. Just based on build out and time frame. That's what their estimate is. So by the time they get to the 7th edition, my guess is that'd be 4 to 6 years from now. And again, we have an agreement with them that for every subdivision that they're platting, they put money into an account, basically a holding account, which the city holds on to, so they can pay their share for that road improvement.
Thank you.
I'd move to approve.
It's been moved to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seems like we covered everything pretty well last meeting, so if there's no further discussion, then Karen, I'll ask you to call a roll call vote.
Okay. Atkins,
Aye.
Hartley,
Aye.
Holst,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Lynch,
Aye.
Prideaux,
Aye.
Saul,
Aye.
Schrod.
Did I just lose you?
We didn't quite catch you, Dale.
I said yes. My screen just went back to Zoom. Can you hear me?
Yes,
We can hear you.
Okay.
got it. Thank you. So that motion carries. What's the schedule look like for this one in terms of moving forward to the council?
It'd either be the next council meeting or the meeting after that. We'll have to have the developer sign that development procedures agreement, and when that goes to council, we'll want that finalized and signed. So we'll either try to figure that out this week or next week.
Great. All right. Well, thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
We have one item of new business tonight, and that's the land use map amendment and rezoning from A1 agricultural district to P1 public district, and from medium density residential to schools. And JD, are you introducing that tonight?
Yes, I will be taking it over.
All right, so the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Host. Okay, thank you, Mr. Host. Good evening, everyone. This is a small case of rezoning. Cedar Falls Community School District has requested to rezone this 20 acres of parcel from A1 Agriculture District to P Public Zoning District. The property is located, as you see on the screen here, north of West 27th Street and west of PE Center Drive, which is next to the University of University of Northern Iowa campus. Quick background on this, Cedar Falls Community School District bought this piece of property about a year back from the adjacent owner to the west. The sole purpose of buying this property was to add a bigger school, new high school campus for Cedar Falls. So as you see on the screen, here is a rezoning plat. The area to be rezoned is highlighted in gray, which is currently A1 zone to be zone P. The property to the west, highlighted in yellow, is where the proposed West Forks Crossing subdivision will be going. It is currently under the rezoning stage. It's a large planned residential area that will be coming up. And property to the east, which is highlighted in a purple color, is basically owned by Cedar Falls Community School District. So the whole idea for this rezoning is to change the rezone the property from A1 to P so that the Cedar Falls High School can propose a new high school campus. With regard to future land use map, as you see on the screen, the orange color indicates that the future land use map indicates it's a medium density residential, and the purple color indicates it's a university designated as far as the future land use map is concerned. So the whole idea is to consider this for land use amendment and to convert this to schools district, so that the proposal that Cedar Falls Community School District has is on board. So these are the two things that they have asked us to do. One is the rezoning the property and to amend the land use amendment from medium density residential and university to schools, so that they can carry forward their plans with the new high school constructions. I think the site plan will be showcased in coming P&Z meetings, which is likely to come up. So Community Development Department recommends setting a public hearing. This is solely this presentation is solely to introduce this item, and we would like to set up a public hearing for July 22nd to discuss amending the future land use map to designate to schools from university and medium density residential, and to rezone the property from A1 to P, that is public zoning district. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, JD. So this one is an introductory one tonight, and we would actually then be looking to take action at the next commission meeting on the 22nd.
That is true.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Well, let me go to the attendees. I know we have a number of people here. If anybody would like to comment on this proposal, I would ask you to raise your hand via the Zoom feature, and I can, here we go. Okay, I've got Andy Patilli. Oops.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I appreciate being on the agenda for this evening, and I'm not sure if there's any questions that you might have, but certainly we are here to help answer any questions and certainly provide any thoughts that we have regarding this rezoning. So thanks for all you do. I'm one of the community members that tune in the second and fourth Wednesday of every month and watch the work that you do. So thanks for what you do.
Thanks, Andy. Anybody else who would like to make a comment? Go ahead and raise your hand. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for any discussion, questions. This is a discussion item, so, and we would be, there'll be two separate votes, I believe. JD, next time, one would be, there'd be a separate vote on amending the land use map, and then a separate vote on rezoning. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true.
Any comments or questions? This is
As I'm new to the commission, is there a notice that goes out to neighbors in 300 feet of that area that is being sent out? It can be part of that July 22nd conversation if necessary.
Yes. We have already sent out letters before this introductory items, and we have also stated in that there will be public hearing. So there will be public hearing notices that will go out, and also there will be a notice in Waterloo Courier that will be published for people. So yeah.
Thank you, JD.
Thank you.
well,
I-
go ahead, Leanne.
I just wanted to say it sounds pretty straightforward to me and something we should, approve.
Yeah, it is a pretty routine change, I think, but we do need to go through the whole process so people have a chance to make a comment on it if they so choose. So, well, seeing no other comments on that, then we will move this one on to the July 22nd meeting as recommended by the staff, unless there's any objections. Seeing none, well, we'll see that next meeting. That does conclude our regular business for tonight. So Karen, are there any commission updates?
I don't have anything tonight other than I know you always wonder when we might get back to City Hall, but as of now, for the time being, for the foreseeable future, we'll still be meeting via video conference.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll keep forging ahead.
All right.
We'll get it down one of these days then.